What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome to the next episode of Deadliest Weapons. Today we're going to take a look at one of my favorite shotguns, and this is a shotgun that could fit into It's Better Than You Think, because this is an incredibly devastating shotgun and people don't really talk about it. It's not even really that it gets hated on or underestimated, people just basically completely ignore it. And that shotgun is, of course, the Jolly Roger, one of my favorites. Now, Admiral Baru did actually cover this in his top 5 best in slot shotguns, and I think this was number 4, meaning he ranked it as the 4th highest DPS shotgun in the game. And I believe it has the highest single shot damage for any unique shotgun that can come in any element. And it is based off of the Room Cleaner, which is a bandit shotgun with a bandit barrel, meaning it does get the matching barrel bonus, which helps make it pretty strong. Now, something that's interesting here, if we compare these two, the Room Cleaner and the Jolly Roger. By the way, you get the Jolly Roger from the Just Desserts for Desert Deserters quest in the Captain Scarlett DLC. I believe you have to progress a little bit until you can start doing quests for Captain Scarlett. But anyway, if we compare these here, this is what Lululemon considers the perfect version to be, although I actually changed the site to Jacobs because Jacobs gives you the best spread reduction. You can see, interestingly, the Room Cleaner has higher base damage. Now, this is only whenever the Room Cleaner has the vertical grip. You can see when you compare the damage on these shotguns here, the Room Cleaner has better damage per pellet, but fewer pellets, and the Jolly Roger has worse damage per pellet, but more overall pellets. And so, depending on if you are comparing them with a vertical grip or not, will actually change which one has more damage. So as you can see with the vertical grip, the Room Cleaner ends up getting more total damage than the Jolly Roger, but without the vertical grip, the Jolly Roger has more total damage. Now that does change if you have a gemstone Room Cleaner, because again, it will have that bonus critical damage and will actually out damage the Jolly Roger still. But if we compare the stats here, you can see, again, the Room Cleaner, with the caveats I said, does have higher base damage, but you can see it has worse accuracy, it has slightly better fire rate, equal reload speed, and worse magazine size. Now, the thing about the magazine size is, for certain grips, it doesn't matter because it consumes 3 ammo per shot, so these have basically the same amount of shots in the mag. But if you can compare them with like Jacob's grip, for example, the Jolly Roger will get 1 more shot in the mag. Now the Jolly Roger shoots in a Jolly Roger pattern, which is a skull and bones. And this is a kind of nice because it will cluster a lot of the shots around the head, which is nice. And you can just see when we switch how much bigger the reticule is on the Room Cleaner, and that might actually be the worst aspect of it because it is harder to land more pellets on an enemy. But honestly, it doesn't need to land them all, so it's still very, very good. And there's an argument that the Room Cleaner, again with the vertical grip and the gemstone skin, could maybe actually be considered better than the Jolly Roger. Now, of course, the Jolly Roger is going to be much, much easier to get. So I'll probably make a separate episode to cover the Room Cleaner because it's also incredibly good and basically no one talks about it. But we'll go ahead and get started with the gameplay here. This is one of my favorite shotguns. I've used it in a build before with that Blink Shotgun Zero video if you want to check that out. I'm not going to use the perfect one here. Well, again, yeah, another word on this. I talk about this a lot, but with shotguns that have this many projectiles, I actually consider the critical hit accessory to be better because it gives you, plus 50% critical damage, and it already has 18 projectiles, so in my opinion, the critical hit accessory is better. Now, obviously, Lululemon disagrees with that, but, they're both gonna be really good, so you honestly cannot go wrong with either one. If I had my choice, I would take the vertical grip, I would take the critical hit accessory, not the vertical grip. But again, they're both going to be very good. You honestly cannot go wrong with either one. So I'm gonna use a fire one here, and I'm going to run a legendary killer. This thing already has really good single shot damage, so I didn't find that I wanted to use the legendary sniper to boost 1 shot 1 kill and stuff. And it also has good magazine size. For the amount of damage that it does, it's got a really, really big magazine. You can see 6 shots in the mag with, 1 shot kill potential basically on each shot is really, really nice. But yeah, Room Cleaner is also really, really good, so keep an eye out for that shotgun. It is one of the best shotguns in the game, and basically no one talks about it. I mean, bandit shotguns in general are pretty underrated. They're basically all very good. But yeah, we'll head on over to Bloodshot Stronghold and get started. Okay, I changed my mind. We'll go ahead and do Southpaw. It's been a little bit since I've done this map, and this shotgun should have the stopping power to deal with the mini bosses here. Just take another look here at the gear. Just using Firebone, Legendary Killer. Again, because I don't think this weapon is going to need the Legendary Sniper. See, I slagged all 3 of those guys with 1 shot from the Pimpernel there. Oh, as you can see, very excellent shotgun, just absolutely obliterating those guys. Super, super fun shotgun to use. Very, very good. Again, great single shot damage and a large magazine size. You just can't really go wrong with it. I meant to do my decoy skip there, but I messed it up a bit. Very, very good shotgun. Probably, honestly, don't even need to slag these guys. I mean, yeah, look at that. So this could be a Deadliest Weapon, or it could fit into It's Better Than You Think. But it's so good, I wanted to put it in the Deadliest Weapon series. And again, I don't see people hate on it. I just don't even see people talk about it. And it's incredibly good. Now, again, you could argue that the Room Cleaner is better with, you know, certain versions of it. But they're both going to be really good. So I got multiple enemies spawning here. See what we can do against this guy. Oh, I missed my shot. Damn it. And now I'm still missing. That's a little irritating that I missed my shot out of Deception there. Oh, well. That range is probably pushing it, yeah. So we'll go ahead and take out Assassin Watt here. Almost got him in 1 shot. Oh, he wasn't even slagged. Nice. Okay, we got an enemy applying a dot to me here. Let's be careful. Get my Deception. See if I can line up a bore shot here. Oh my gosh, wow. Yeah, this is one of my favorite shotguns. Now again, keep an eye out for the Room Cleaner. It's going to be very, very good too. Let's, I bet we got some Lunatic Bombers coming here. Yeah, we'll just let Deception take care of them. I guess I'll finish that one off. But yeah, I don't know if you guys have noticed, what I've started doing is instead, like before, whenever I got ahead of schedule on content, I would do like multiple videos releasing on 1 day and stuff. And I've kind of changed my approach. What I'm doing now is I upload content every other day. And as I get more videos, I just schedule them out ahead. And this will also be beneficial for my channel members because if you're a Veracity Slayer, you gain early access. And it's always at least 24 hours. But what I started doing is, again, if I do get ahead of schedule, I just schedule these out. By the time this video gets scheduled, I might have like a week or 2 scheduled out. And you'll just get access to all of those if you do become a Veracity Slayer. And I thought that would be better than just spamming uploads anyway, so... And part of me is like, now that I have this channel, whenever I have free time, if I'm not using it to support the channel, I feel bad. So I'm hoping maybe my brain will like it more if I get ahead of schedule on content, then maybe I can take a break every now and then. I would like to play the Oblivion remaster some more. I've played it some, but I've not got to put a ton of time on it. I've been enjoying it a lot, what I have been able to play. I'm going to get hit by that most likely. Yeah. I do like Oblivion. Probably better than Skyrim. I actually haven't played Morrowind yet. It's... I would like to eventually, but I've just not really got around to it. I do know some about it. I've researched it and looked some stuff up. But overall, I do personally like Oblivion quite a bit better than Skyrim, so I've been enjoying playing the remaster, which again, I haven't a ton. Oh my god, did you see that? We almost killed One with a single trigger pull. Holy shit. Man, that is really impressive. One is a tanky dude. He's a tanky boy. But yeah, Skyrim improved some things over Oblivion, but in a lot of ways it did that thing I'm always complaining about where they simplified and removed a lot of the best parts. Like in Oblivion, you can make your own spells. See if we can bore. Oh my gosh, this thing is so good. You can make your own spells in Oblivion, and there's so much cool creative stuff you can do. You can like one funny one I saw recently was you can combine a fear spell with increased movement speed. And what this will do is like it'll make the enemy haul ass away from you. And there's just a bunch of cool stuff like that you can do. You can do like paralysis and damage over time. There's just so much cool stuff you can do. You can do like, you know, absorb health and paralysis. Paralysis and weakness to poison for your poisons. And I'm blabbing and getting pushed back here. So let's try to actually focus a bit. I mean, Skyrim definitely made some improvements. The dungeons in particular in Oblivion are pretty not good. They're mostly related to quests, almost all of them. I don't know about almost all of them, but like, in my opinion, they're not really worth doing unless you're doing them for a quest. Other than that, they mainly just function as like a way to get loot and gear and to like make money and to level up your skills. Skyrim definitely improved on that aspect, but Skyrim just simplified and removed too much stuff for me. I also like to play like Spellblade characters that use like a two-handed weapon, like a two-handed sword. And the great thing about Oblivion is you can use a two-handed sword and then still have access to your magic. In Skyrim, if you use a two-handed sword, you don't get, you know, magic. Except for the shouts, but the shouts are, you know, not the same thing. And Skyrim did, like, it varied the magic up. Like, it added stuff like chain lightning, and it actually gave you unique animations for your spells. One kind of disappointing thing about the Oblivion magic system is there don't seem to be unique animations. Like, if you have the standard flare spell, I think it's called, it has like the same animation as the high level version, you know? So that's kind of disappointing. You can jazz it up a little bit by adding unique effects. You can add like weakness to magic and stuff, and you can combine multiple different elements, or paralysis and fire and all kinds of stuff. So you can jazz it up a little bit that way, but definitely Skyrim improved some stuff like that. I also like the quests a lot better in Oblivion. The guilds, they're a ton of fun. They're a lot longer and more complex, or it feels like. I should caveat that I haven't played Skyrim in a long time, so I might be misremembering a bit. But Bethesda's quest design is often pretty bad, but it seems like when they give a shit, they can actually make pretty interesting quests. Like Fallout 4 has some of the worst quest design you'll ever see. It mostly just seems like because Bethesda didn't give a shit, though. They didn't really try. They're happy to make, you know, a million quests of Preston Gravy telling you to go here and free a settlement or whatever. But there's some interesting quests, like, this is a spoiler alert, so if you haven't done the Fighters Guild in Oblivion, I recommend, I'll put a timestamp to skip ahead if you don't want to be spoiled. But for Oblivion, you can join the Fighters Guild, and one of the last quests you do is you go and investigate this rival company called the Blackwood Company, and you like infiltrate them. You go to them and you join them up, and you're going to do a mission with them, right? Well, you drink this stuff called Hist Sap before the mission, which is supposed to like enhance your abilities. And then you go on the mission and you kill a bunch of goblins, and you end up passing out basically because you took too much and you didn't have a tolerance built up to it. And whenever you go back to the guy you're working with in the Fighters Guild, he tells you to go investigate, you know, where you guys killed these goblins. And anyway, you go back and there's no goblins there. It's just dead people and dead sheep everywhere. And you realize that this whole time you were killing these goblins, it was actually just fucking defenseless humans you were slaughtering. But you didn't know it because you were like out of your mind on this Hist Sap stuff. And then, you know, you have to like destroy their source where they're getting this. And it's just one of the most interesting quests that Bethesda's done. So, I mean, when they care, that they can do stuff like that. But it just so often seems like, especially as they're newer games, they just don't really care about making interesting quests. I mean, Fallout 4 had some, but generally they just don't make it a priority. And I guess I can see where they're coming from. Like, honestly, I don't know if the average gamer even gives a shit about good quest design. I mean, they probably do, but it's like, if you can make 200 go here and kill things quests, that is a lot easier than making, you know, 50 interesting fleshed out quests, right? And if most people are going to like them the same, why bother, you know? And I think, didn't Bethesda like not even hire writers for Fallout 4 or something? That might just be a rumor, but it would make sense. Like, as soon as I heard that the leader of the Institute in Fallout 4 was called Father, I knew it was going to be your son, because, like, shitty writers think shit like that is, like, the most clever thing ever. He's like, bro, he's your son, bro, but he's called Father, so it's like irony, bro. And it just, hire writers, Bethesda, good ones, please. Again, I'm being kind of harsh. They can make good quests when they give a shit. But yeah, you can see we're just obliterate. Oh god. I'm dead. Oh god, that was very close. And the Dark Brotherhood in Oblivion is really interesting. Some people feel like the first half of it is good and the second half of it is bad, because like the first half, it's got more fleshed out quests and stuff, and the second half is kind of the typical go here and kill a guy. And I kind of agree with that, but because of what it turns out you're actually doing, it actually kind of works out in my opinion. Again, if you want to skip this spoiler, I'll put a timestamp up. But the second half of the quests, again, they're not very interesting. It's mostly just you going to locations and killing people. But then you end up finding out that you got your dead drop orders were getting intercepted, and you were actually killing off members of the Dark Brotherhood. So that made it a little interesting to me. But I could definitely see why some people feel like that's not a justification for how it ends up playing out. But mainly, what I like about Oblivion is the ability to, again, use a two-handed weapon and still use a spell. Again, you do technically have shouts in Skyrim, but the shouts were just not fleshed out at all. Not enough, in my opinion. There were some interesting ones, but not a lot. He dropped us a dog. I'll have to review that thing, too. Bandit shotguns in general are just pretty damn good. But yeah, dungeons in Oblivion are definitely kind of a weak spot. I think I read that a single person was like in charge of designing them all or something. Did that dog fall through the floor? Hey, we got a new weapon skin. Oh, we got a Fremington's Edge that I didn't see before either. No element. I don't know. Did I pick that dog up? I could have swore I saw a red text. Oh, yeah, we got one, but OP9, no accessory, no element, Hyperion Grip. Fuck you, Gearbox. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I would check out the Oblivion remaster. I don't buy new games, but it was on Game Pass, so I've just been playing it on there. Again, not recently, because most of my free time is dedicated to my channel. But anyway, you can see Jolly Roger, really, really good. And we will head on over to an Axton run. Alright, and here we are with the Axton run. I am going to use the version that Loot Lemon considers perfect, which is the vertical grip, and we'll have a matching bandit grip here. Just going to do a corrosive bone and a legendary soldier. I expect this weapon to still perform very well, although maybe not quite as well as it did with Zero, but it should still be very, very good. Yeah, easily killed him in one magazine. Now, this is probably not going to be one of my favorite shotguns for Axton, just because like stuff like the Omen with the grenade splash damage is probably better for him. Oh my gosh, wow. But, you know, it's still very good. Nice. Oh my gosh, man. Again, this is just one of my favorite shotguns. Some people don't, I think some people don't like that, like, quest rewards are often so good, but I honestly don't mind it. Like, there's a lot of people who feel like Seraphs aren't as good as they should be, or Legendaries, or Pearlescence, basically all of those. Honestly, like, is it a bad thing that some of the quest rewards are better than that stuff? Like, I don't know. Personally, I don't feel like it is. I mean, the only tier that I feel like should be overall better is Seraph, or excuse me, Pearlescent gear. Just because of how rare and special it feels. I do think that Pearlescence should, like, basically all be really good, like god tier gear, basically. But, you know, for Seraphs, I feel like they're mostly in a pretty good spot. I'm too far away from him. And I think if, like, what if every rarity just completely power crept the rarity, before it? Would people really be happy with that? I don't know. I feel like there would be a lot of complaints about power creep then. And I feel like the system we have now is actually pretty damn good, where, you know, some legendary gear is top tier, some of it's meh. Some Seraph gear is top tier, some of it's meh. Some pearls are top tier, some of them, you know, not great. Again, pearls are the one that I would say they should all be really good, because there's not a lot of them, and how hard they are to get and stuff. And then quest rewards, a lot of them are not very good, and then some of them are incredibly good. So it gives you a lot of variety. So I don't know. I mean, again, I would change the pearls, but I don't know about the other weapons, honestly. You know, another thing that pissed me off about Skyrim was they completely removed mysticism from Oblivion. And mysticism in Oblivion, it kind of was like the Misk magic school. It had stuff like Soul Trap, Detect Life. What else did it have? I could have killed him in one magazine if I was closer, probably. But mysticism had some really powerful effects. It had Absorb Spell, which was really good, and it had Reflect Damage, which was incredible. It also has Reflect Spell. I liked Absorb Spell better. But you couldn't really make good use of those until like later on in the game because they were so expensive Magicka-wise. But, you know, if they felt like Mysticism wasn't fleshed out enough, why not add to it? You know, why just remove it? That's, you know, again, I just hate the removal and simplification. Like, obviously, the leveling system in Oblivion was definitely flawed, but again, they could have improved it. Again, I think, like, Breton is my favorite class in Oblivion. I think a lot of people like it because it gives you, like, plus 50% magic resistance and plus 50% magic starting. And oh, didn't they take away the standing stones too? Or the birth signs? I think they replaced them with standing stones. But I like the Apprentice. It was my favorite, which gave you plus 100 Magicka, but it also gave you plus 100 weakness to Magicka. But I like stuff like that. That gives you like something, a really good bonus, but with a downside, which was like traits from Fallout, which is another thing that, I don't know, Bethesda, they're like, oh my god, traits? No, that's too complicated because it has a downside. Get traits out of there. And Bethesda removed traits from Fallout 3 and from Fallout 4. I don't know if I don't know about Fallout 76. I didn't play it. It's just like they sometimes they think their players are so stupid that they'll like be terrified of traits, so they just remove them. And like with trait, like the other stuff, you could maybe argue that it you know adds to the game to remove certain things, but with traits, it's like if you don't like them, just ignore them. And a lot of people really like them. And New Vegas had them, but they still didn't add it to Fallout 4, you know, so yeah, I just hate removing stuff just for removing it whenever it doesn't really add to the game. But what I was saying, I believe they also simplified like the racial bonuses. I don't think they're as impactful in like Skyrim. And it's a case of if they felt they were unbalanced, then just rebalance them, you know, but that's not really, I don't feel like that's really what they did. Stop spinning, bro. But yeah, I mean, Skyrim is I don't hate it or anything. I just like Oblivion a lot better. Now, if you compare the Apprentice to the Mage is probably quote-unquote better because the Mage gives you plus 50 magic with no downside. The Apprentice gives you plus 100 with the downside of, you know, a 100% more weakness to magic. But I just again like getting a really nice bonus with a downside. Again, the Breton already has 50% Magicka resistance to, or 50% magic resistance to, which is nice. But yeah, Reflect Damage and Absorb Spell were super cool. But again, they were harder to really fully take advantage of until later on in the game. But it gave you something to work towards for end game, you know, so it was a lot of fun. Oblivion also has attributes, and you know, in that game, Restoration could fortify stuff. It could like fortify attributes. So Restoration could make a fortify strength spell, and that could also double for like Feather because it would increase your carry weight. You could do a fortify speed spell. So if you're having to run somewhere far away that you haven't fast traveled to yet, or that, you know, you can't fast travel to, you could fortify your movement speed and you could, you know, move really fast. And there's just a lot of fun stuff like that you could do. You could make like a lightning bolt spell and add paralysis at the end of it for just 1 second just to knock an enemy down, you know. And then there's stuff like Frenzy is really cheap. Frenzy is the spell that makes enemies hostile towards like everything, but it's super, super cheap. So Frenzy, it's very easy to add to like a Thunderbolt spell for a very low cost, and then you've got that, which will also, it'll, you know, hit enemies with a lightning bolt, but then make them rage too. So, oh god. There was just so much cool stuff like that the spell crafting system allowed, and just to remove that, which was like a fan favorite thing, is just insane. Now again, if they felt like Skyrim's magic had spells that wouldn't really work with that system, then just don't, you know, only allow some of them to be, you know, customized. I think that's already how it worked in Oblivion. I think there was maybe a handful of spells that could not be, you couldn't like make your own versions. But I suppose that's enough about that. I've talked about that like this whole video. But yeah, you can see the Jolly Roger, incredible weapon. I mean, it's just shredding these guys up really well. And it doesn't really have any special synergy with Axton. I just felt like doing a run with him. Again, the Omen is one of my favorite shotguns for Axton because it does get grenade splash damage bonuses. The Jolly Roger is just really good, and it's going to perform really well on every character. And if you guys are enjoying this video, do please consider liking and subscribing. And if you'd like to see more weapon reviews, let me know. And let me know what weapons you would like for me to review. I plan on doing many more episodes, so yeah, do let me know what you want to see reviewed, and I will try to get around to it eventually. And again, if you've commented something in the past and I didn't cover it, it's not necessarily because I didn't want to. I just sometimes forget, and then there's a lot of comments to go back and sift through, and I can't always find everyone. But yeah, again, depending on how far ahead of schedule I am, this video might have been scheduled like a couple of weeks out. Let's try to take this guy out from back here. There we go, nice. But yeah, for Bethesda, like, they are obviously bad for simplifying and removing things. I didn't play Starfield. It's not a game that really interested me, but you know, I've heard mixed things about it. As far as the next Elder Scrolls game, I don't know, man. I'm not super confident that it will be great. I mean, it would be hard to be bad, even if it's just like Skyrim 2.0, I would still enjoy it. But I would like, you know, for them to revisit some of the game designs of the past games. Restoration in Oblivion also has... I better be careful, I'm about to get downed. In Oblivion, Restoration could also absorb health, which is really good. I don't think it could do that in Skyrim, could it? I might be wrong about that. I believe in Morrowind, the absorb spells were added to... Oh, I gotta be really careful. I'm dead. And see, man, I just start blabbing and I can't focus. But yeah, I believe in Morrowind, absorb health was actually added to mysticism. And there's actually a mod on Nexus to make mysticism have absorb attributes again. And I do like that mod. Another reason I didn't play the Oblivion remaster much was because there was an update that, for me, made performance a lot worse. And it made, especially the inventory, it made the inventory super fucking laggy, which is really annoying in a game that has a ton of inventory management. And that was one of the things that annoyed me about Borderlands 3, was the laggy inventory. And it's like, a game with so much inventory management, you're constantly going into it, and it's, you know, slow and unresponsive. Now, I think for Borderlands 3, it did get improved. But it's really annoying with playing Oblivion right now, and every time you open your menu, there's a stutter. But like I said, most of my free time does go into my channel because I don't, you know, I just feel bad if I have free time and I'm not using it to, you know, make content for the channel. I should have picked my turret up, but I guess I'm not going to. Again, Skyrim definitely made some good changes. Obviously, the shouts were a cool idea. I just feel like they didn't really do very many creative things with them. There's some interesting mods that add more interesting shouts, though. Dungeon design, again, was one of the biggest ways that Skyrim improved over Oblivion. Yeah, really excellent weapon. I've not played super well with it because I've been yapping, but I still didn't get downed, and I still was able to shred these guys up really easily. So definitely a great weapon to check out. Again, it does come from that quest, just desserts for desert deserters, when you progress somewhat into the Commander, or the Captain Scarlett DLC. But yeah, guys, again, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about the Jolly Roger. Like and subscribe, comment, let me know what weapon you want to see covered next, and I will try to get around to it. Really appreciate the channel members. Extra special thanks to Legged Weirdnut for being a Veracity Slayer. Really appreciate the support, man. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day, and hope to see you next time.